believed that by relying on my master's reputation, I could ensure a lifetime of peace and stability. Little did I know that a world-shattering war between humans and demons would lead to my master's fall. Since then, you became the sole master of Wendaofeng. Deeply aware of the cruelty of this world, you began a life of seclusion on the Wendaofeng left behind by your master. Every day you signed in, raised chickens, and went fishing. Remaining in hiding for a full 1,000 years, you never took a single step away from Wendaofeng. Consequently, by signing in day after day, you forged yourself into a formidable peak quasi-emperor. You became the true ancestor of the Star Cloud Pavilion at the peak quasi-emperor stage. In this era where no great emperors have appeared, you are truly invincible. Alas, you gave a bitter smile. If I had possessed such strength back then, how could my master have fallen before our eyes? Ding! Would the host like to sign in today? You decline with total indifference. Decline invalid. The system will automatically sign in for the host. Ding! Congratulations to the host. Today's sign-in was successful. You have received 19 Revolution Soul Returning Pill. Your heart remained unmoved. After 1,000 years, the heavenly treasures and divine pills in your storage had long since piled up like mountains. Any random pill was far superior to this. You have been stuck at the peak quasi-emperor stage for 100 years, lacking only a single opportunity to truly prove your Tao. At that moment, a figure in white appeared behind you. It was a young girl, roughly 15 or 16 years old. Her features were exquisite, a peerless beauty in the mortal world. This was the disciple, Yun Shi. She bowed respectfully toward your back, her small face flushing slightly. Is this the legendary Star Cloud Holy Lord? Yun Shi's heart raced like a panicked deer. Her master had said that in 1,000 years he had only cultivated to the spirit transformation realm. He spent his days in idleness, yet why was even his back so captivating? What is it? You slowly turned your head and asked with an indifferent tone. He is so handsome. Yunshi stared blankly for a moment, her heart pounding wildly as her breath caught for a beat. In her eyes, you were like an exiled immortal stepping out from a painting. A single glance from you was enough to leave her soul entranced. She struggled to regain her composure, lowering her head in bashful silence. Today marks the Sex Decennial Recruitment Ceremony. My master has sent me to ask if you will be attending. Having spoken, she felt her hopes were slim. This holy lord had remained in seclusion for 1,000 years. She feared this year would be no different. To her surprise, you raised an eyebrow. The recruitment ceremony? You murmured to yourself, it has been 1,000 years. Perhaps it is time to venture out. My master's legacy must have a successor. The peak of inquiry is vast, yet I stand alone without a single disciple. It is indeed too solitary, I understand. You may leave. Yunshi took 3 steps and glanced back each time before finally departing, her heart a mix of anticipation and disappointment. Seeing her distance herself, you slowly raised your hand, prepared to tear through the void and step directly to the mountain gates. But at the very moment you raised your hand, a golden divine light suddenly erupted within your body. The laws of heaven and earth began to resonate violently with your presence. This is the opportunity to attain the Tao, Master Host. The moment of enlightenment has arrived. Set aside the recruitment ceremony. Achieving emperorhood is paramount. The system's voice shrieked with excitement within your mind. You were stunned for a moment, then filled with overwhelming joy as the bottleneck that had plagued you for a century finally loosened at this critical juncture. Without a moment's hesitation, you immediately sat cross-legged. Allowing the golden light within your body to surge forth, you triggered a profound resonance with the world itself. Meanwhile, at the Mountain Gate Square of the Xingyun Pavilion, the recruitment ceremony had reached its final stage. Tens of thousands had undergone layer upon layer of selection, leaving only a sparse few thousand remaining. In the recruitment of Xingyun Pavilion, appearance is the first priority. Talent is second. To be able to stand within these ranks, every single individual is a favored child of the heavens. Handsome youths and beautiful maidens were present. Qin Shou, Azure Wood Spirit Physique, qualified. Dai Lu, Painless Acupuncture Physique, qualified. The testing elder's voice rang out, resonant and grand. Upon the high platform, head elder Zhao Xuanzi and the other elders looked down at this year's new saplings, nodding in satisfaction. Excellent. The aptitude of this year's disciples is the best we have seen in a century, is it not? I recall that back then, to fight over a natural Tao physique, you old fool nearly drew a blade against me. One elder glared and huffed, his beard bristling. You still have the nerve to speak. Had I not been forced to step away for a moment to attend to my needs, would you have been able to snatch him away from right under my nose? Another elder bristled with such indignation that he nearly leaped from his seat. A beautiful female elder let out a cold snort, causing the surrounding atmosphere to turn icy in an instant. Is it not because of those shameless fools from the Netherworld Holy Land? They conspired with 7 other great holy lands to suppress us. Otherwise, how could our Xingyun Pavilion have fallen to such a state? As soon as these words were spoken, the elders fell into a heavy silence, their expressions darkening with gloom. Indeed, ever since the previous pavilion master perished, Xingyun Pavilion has been like a dragon without a head, relentlessly shunned and marginalized by the other holy lands. It has long since lost the former glory it held as the #1 holy land in the eastern wasteland. At that moment, a cold snow-white figure drifted toward them. Greetings, Senior Marshal Uncle Ziwei. The elders immediately performed their salutations with the utmost respect. The newcomer was none other than one of the Xingyun 7 prodigies, Fairies Away. She cast a calm gaze across the crowd and asked indifferently, Have the elders of all 108 peaks gathered, reporting to Senior Marshal Uncle 107 have arrived. A white robed female elder replied, "Where is the Holy Lord?" Zue knit her brows in disapproval. "The Holy Lord?" The elders exchanged glances, their faces clouded with confusion. Zue was nearly driven to exasperation by these senile elders. "I mean the peak master of Wendao Peak, Gu Changqing, our little martial ancestor." Only then did sudden realization dawn upon everyone. Shortly after, an elder replied in a low voice, "We have already dispatched someone to invite him." However, the little martial ancestor has been slothful in recent years. He likely won't appear this year either. Zue let out a faint sigh. Very well, let him be. The crowd shared a moment of lamentation. After 1,000 years of cultivation, their progress still paled in comparison to their own grand disciple. This little martial ancestor was truly an anomaly within the world of cultivation. Before the words could finish, a heaven-shaking sword hum suddenly resonated, piercing through the very clouds. What is happening? Everyone reflexively turned their gaze toward the trial stone pillar at the center of the square. Standing before the pillar was a young girl in white, barely 11 or 12 years of age, pressing her small palm against the stone. An instant later, 10,000 feet of golden light erupted from her body, soaring into the heavens. In the sky above, the phantoms of countless flying swords circled and let out piercing cries. The sword's resonance shook the heavens as the runic patterns of the Tao of the sword illuminated the entire Xingyan pavilion. A peerless prodigy descends upon the world. This is the descent of a Tao body. Look quickly. A heavenly vision has appeared. Our star cloud pavilion is about to produce a peerless sword body. The elders in Zue all rose in shock, their faces masked with utter disbelief. Yet the phenomenon was far from over. High above the nine heavens, the winds and clouds underwent a violent transformation. Tens of thousands of great emperor phantoms manifested in the sky. All at once, they turned toward that young girl. They bowed their heads, paying homage in profound reverence. No, wait. Emperors paying homage? This is no mere Tao body. A divine fetus has descended. Quick, inform the pavilion master at once. The entire star cloud pavilion was thrown into an absolute frenzy. Zoe was the first to react. Her figure blurred, reappearing instantly before the young girl. Her jade-like hand gently touched the girl's brow, causing a sword-shaped mark to soar into the heavens as Ziwei's voice trembled with excitement. "It is the innate sword fetus." A thunderous boom echoed in the minds of the elders. They were nearly suffocated by the sheer shock. Among the 3,000 divine fetuses, the innate sword fetus ranks third, surpassed only by the chaos Tao fetus and the primordial divine fetus. 5 years ago, the Star Cloud Pavilion witnessed the birth of a six-star river Tao body. That event shook the eastern wasteland, yet today, an innate sword fetus has truly descended. Heaven has blessed our Star Cloud Pavilion. The young girl, clearly frightened by the spectacle, hurriedly knelt. Disciple Qinyan's greets fairies away. "Rise quickly, child, you have done well." Suppressing her excitement, Ziwei asked, "So your name is Qinyanji?" At that moment, 6 snow-robed figures of peerless grace descended from the sky above the square, the remaining 6 members of the Star Cloud 7 Excellencies. Then a figure appeared whose beauty was so transcendent it caused the world itself to pale in comparison. Her presence was so overwhelming that even the phantoms of the great emperors in the sky seemed to dim. "We pay our respects to the pavilion master." The elders and disciples knelt in unison. She was the master of the Star Cloud Pavilion, Shen Liuli, the number one fairy of the Eastern Wasteland and a powerhouse of the quasi-emperor realm. She walked directly toward Qin Nianji, her voice cold yet unable to fully conceal her excitement. "Qin, magnificent, innate sword fetus indeed. If you are willing, I shall take you as my personal disciple this instant. Every resource within this sect shall be at your disposal." As these words fell, an uproar erupted across the grounds. The pavilion master was personally taking a disciple. This girl had truly ascended to the heavens in a single step. Qin Nianji herself stood dazed. She knew this was her only chance to avenge her mother. She had to seize it. Disciple Qin Nianji. "Excellent, Nianji." Just as she was about to bow to her new master, a mocking voice drifted from the horizon, resonating between heaven and earth. "To think a majestic innate sword fetus would choose to join a declining star cloud pavilion. Are you truly that desperate?" As soon as the words were spoken, the sky was torn asunder by spatial cracks. An elder clad in green robes with withered skin stepped out from the rift. His aura surged to the heavens. He was from the 100 Ancient Demon sect. Poison Emperor, the master of the Nebula Pavilion, saw his expression darken. Following him, another figure emerged from the void. From the Netherworld Holy Land, the Sect Master, the Netherworld Ancestor. The Sect Master of the Teishu Divine Gate, Gan Yuanzi. From the Absolute Heaven Saber Sect, Dao Wuhan, in the blink of an eye, the leaders of the 8 Great Holy Lands, along with dozens of Sect Masters from first-rate powers, had arrived. These quasi-emperor powerhouses of the Dao integration realm, men whose mere footsteps could shake the eastern desolation, had all gathered here. Their purpose was without a single word. They were here to seize the disciple. Ha 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 ha. The Spear King of the Western Desert, carrying his long spear, was the first to step forward. "Shen Liuli, your Nebula Pavilion is far too small a pond to hold this girl. Today I have decided that I shall be the one to take her. Whoever dares to snatch her from me will find 10,000 holes pierced into their body by my spear. I spit on your words." The sect master of the Absolute Heaven Saber sect cursed aloud, his saliva flying everywhere. What does a spear user like you know about the path of the sword? Little girl, come to my saber sect, and my Saint Great Spirit tool, the markless saber, shall be yours. My heavenly bird dynasty will slaughter 100,000 spirit beasts every day just to provide you with nourishment. Nonsense. Come to the Taishu Divine Gate, and I shall personally appoint you as our divine maiden. These titans of the Eastern Desolation were now acting like common hags at a market, shouting until their throats were hoarse. The scene descended into utter chaos. Silence. Shen Liuli, the master of the Nebula Pavilion, was thoroughly enraged as her quasi-emperor pressure erupted with a roar. Do you truly believe my Nebula Pavilion is defenseless? The Netherworld ancestor gave a cold, sinister laugh. Pavilion Master Liuli, you mustn't say such things. The innate sword embryo is a blessing for the entire Eastern Desolation. Surely you wouldn't allow her talent to be wasted in a dilapidated place like yours, which lacks even a single great emperor? The seven prodigies of Nebula and the elders trembled with rage, their fists clenched tight, yet they could not find the words to retort. For this was the 1,000-year-old wound of the Nebula Pavilion. Ha 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 ha. Seeing this, the Netherworld ancestor became even more arrogant. Since you ladies have no objections, then this girl shall be mine. Before he could even finish his sentence, crack! A thunderous explosion roared as the entire sky seemed to be torn apart by a giant invisible hand.